Good morning, family and friends, and welcome to Riverside National Cemetery. On behalf of our director and staff, we would like to offer our sincere condolences and thank you for choosing Riverside National Cemetery as your loved one's final resting place. It is now my privilege to turn the service over to the United States Navy.
Detail, attention. Family and friends, we thank you for inviting us today to honor a U.S. Navy veteran, your loved one, and our brother in arms. We'll now be conducting full military honors. Military honors consist of the rifle volley, the sounding of taps, and the folding and presentation of our nation's great flag. Now, before we get started, I want to warn those of you with sensitive hearing and small children that the rifle volley can be quite loud. During this portion, we ask that you please take proper precaution and protect your hearing. Shortly after, we'll be having the sounding of taps. During the sounding of taps, I ask if we have any former or current uniform members present with us today, whether they be military, peace officers, or any emergency response. Could you please render that one final hand salute in respect for a fallen veteran? I'll ask that everyone else simply pay their respects by placing their right hand over your heart. And now, if you're able to, please stand. Rifle Team Commander, prepare to fire 3 volleys! on behalf of the President of the United States Navy, and a very grateful nation, please accept this flag as a small token of appreciation for your loved one's faithful and dedicated service to our forces. When you look upon it, may remind you of the sacrifices they've done not only for his countrymen, but those for his family and loved ones as well. Detail. And salute. 2.
On behalf of the United States Marine Corps, the Semper Fi Memorial Rifle Team, with my deepest condolences to the loss of your father, I present your family with your father's rifle casings from the rifle team's fire.
This now concludes the military portion of our service. And again, we thank you for inviting us on our brother in arms. Detail. Right. Face. On. Forward. March.
We're gathered here today as a community of family and friends to remember and to celebrate with gratitude the life of Donald E. Thurber Jr., who I believe was sometimes known as Big D. We're here in this context particularly to remember his service to his country in the U.S. Navy. And that was a remarkable part of his life journey, his story. I researched that a little when I learned that he was in that mine explosion on the USS Brush, and what a story. I'm sure he recounted that a number of times. And just a part of the adventurous life that he lived here, and we do honor him for his service to his country. That's only a part of the life that he lived here. We're here also to recognize over 70 years, nearly 72 years of marriage, I think. And that is a tribute to both him and to you, Pat. That didn't happen by accident. A great model for all of us in that. And the legacy of that marriage is son, a daughter, 5 grandchildren, 16 great-grandchildren, 2 great-great-grandchildren. I told my wife last night we got a lot of catching up. And so I'm sure that a good many, if not all of you here, are part of that family circle. And you each come here with your own ways of appreciating Don's life, the difference his life has made. Described to me as a big-hearted, compassionate man who was always there to help anyone who needed him. And so I'm sure you've all experienced that in your own way. But I want to remind us that this is not just, or even primarily, a time to look back with gratitude on a life well lived here. We want to put that life in a much larger context, and that is to celebrate the new life that Don has entered into.
Amen.
A life that we can only barely imagine, but we know is wonderful for him. And there are a number of places where the Bible points us to this big picture truth about life. I want to share with you just one brief passage. And I think it's one of the most important, both because of what it says and because of who said it. These are words that were spoken by Jesus very shortly before his death, when he knew that death was coming soon, and he knew what kind of an impact that was going to have on his closest friends. Not unlike what death is for us today. A time when they were going to miss him for sure, but they were also going to be reminded of their own mortality, the truth that none of us are going to be in this world forever. So it makes a huge difference, doesn't it, to know that when we do come to the end of our earthly journey, whether it's after a lot of years of living or a short time, eventually it happens for all of us, and to know that we go on to something better. So Jesus said, in effect, it's to your great advantage that I die, because in death I'm going ahead of you to get a place ready for you. And this is the way he put it, is recorded in John's Gospel. Don't be troubled. Trust in God. Trust also in me. My Father's house has room to spare. If that weren't the case, would I have told you that I'm going to prepare a place for you? When I go to prepare a place for you, I'll return and take you to be with me, so that where I am, there you will be too. Peace I leave with you. My peace I give you, not as the world gives. Don't be troubled or afraid. And I believe very much that that's Jesus' word to us today. If he were standing here in person, he'd want to say, most of all, I want to give you that gift of peace. And it's a peace that can come first and foremost for us from knowing that Don is very much at peace. Experiencing a life that we can even barely imagine. In fact, I think it's significant that Jesus didn't try to give us all the detail, almost as if to say there's no way to really fully comprehend it. We just need to wait to get there to see it. Well, today we celebrate with and for Don that while we still wait, he sees it all with perfect clarity. And in that sense, our celebration is focused on the present and on the future and who and where he is now. But it indeed is a time when we look back with gratitude on the life that he's lived here. And we have a very, very brief time here, so we certainly can't say everything there would be to say about that life. But I want to ask Rocky to come and to share some words of tribute for his dad.
I had to write it all down, so thanks everybody. This is for Dad. Husband to my mom, Dad, Grandpa, great-grandpa, and great-great-grandpa. And he was even a brother with a heart of gold and hands like steel. He was a gentle giant, and if you'd ask him where he was born, well, he'd tell you where he was born, at 1338 South Hope Street in LA. He had to give you all the address for that too, so he was proud of that. All right, so he grew up there, and they were born in Hawthorne and Inglewood area, over by the LA airport, where they would all hang out and play over there in that area on the ranches there. I know when he got older, he tried to enlist in the Navy when he was 17, but they caught him doctoring his birth certificate up, so They just told him, come back next year, son. So in the meantime there, he married my mother, 17 years old. And he went back and he went into the Navy, where he was a fireman on the USS Brush. In the Korean War, when they hit the ship and blew a 75-foot hole in the bow of the ship. Luckily, God was with him, and he was a survivor, because there wasn't people that were right next to him didn't make it. My mom and dad raised my sister and I in Lakewood, where he bought his first home. He was married to my mom for almost 72 years. When I was a kid, I thought my dad could do anything. He was my hero. We were fortunate to have a father that wanted the best for his family. He worked hard to make it happen, and I'm grateful for that. He taught me that to get ahead in life, you had to work hard, and you didn't quit. And when it got tough, you just pared down, you worked a little harder. He was a man that was always there for you when you needed a hand, and he didn't expect anything back in return. He'd give you the shirt off his back if you need be. He was the best dad a boy could ever have. He'd coach my football and basketball games when I was young. He'd play catch me with me in the backyard after a long day at work. Mom and Dad would take us on surfing and water skiing vacations and bring all my friends along just so we all could have a good time. Weren't really thinking of themselves. You're thinking of their kids. Big Dad even built his own surfboard so he could go out and surf with us. He didn't want to go buy one. He figured, no, I'll build my own and I'll come out there and show you boys how to do it, you know? And if you guys all knew he would do stuff things like that. And he bought his first boat so we could all water ski. Dad wasn't a man of many words, but he showed how much he loved us all. When he told you a story, you knew it was going to take a while, but it was worth it because he had a lot of good things to say. He always had sayings, which we all hear our whole lives, and a few of them are, ain't nothing shaking but the leaves on the trees, and they won't shake if there isn't a breeze. See you later, alligator. After a while, crocodile. Still kicking, but not too high. And the one we all probably like to hear him say, when I was young and in my prime, I used to do it all the time. Now I'm old and gray, I only do it once or twice a day. I just can't remember what I was doing. He had a lot of them. There's other ones I probably don't want to say here. Dad would work with, I got to work with my dad pretty much my whole life. Not many people could do that. He was a patient man, loving, kind-hearted, the best teacher of things mechanical a boy could ever have. He could fix just about anything. He taught me to do the same. He wasn't a formally educated man, but he was one of the smartest people I knew. Smart in a real practical way that took hands-on approach to things. He could take something apart, put it back together, and not by reading a manual, just by doing it, just by knowing how to do things and persevere, just get it done. He was always there for his family, dependable and loyal. He showed me how to be a good dad. Not by words or lecturing me, just by example. By being the kind of man I knew I wanted to be. And he taught us all so much. He loved his kids, his grandkids, and was very proud of all of us. He loved my mom with all his heart, so the day he died. Right now, I know, we all know him. He's probably up asking God, what's Patsy doing? Where's Patsy? Where's Patricia? And telling his friends that she's older than me, you know. Only by 2 months. She was the love of his life, and everyone knew that. I knew how much he meant to everyone in our whole family. I also know that he and my mom are the glue that has kept us all safe and together. I'm grateful to them for that. For my parents' sake as well as ours, I want to continue to stick together as a family to honor them and the foundation they created for us. I lost my best friend and the best dad in the world. He was a man of few words, but when it came to expressing his emotions, in his later years, he used to tell me, I love you the mostest, which meant I love you more than you love me. Thanks for everything, Pop, for being the best dad a son could ever have. I love you the mostest. Thank you.
Well, Rocky said that he lost his dad, and yeah, you're going to miss his physical presence, but he's by no means lost to you.
That's right.
Every one of you who are a part of this extended family have a part of him in you, and you live out his legacy and honor him in that way.
Amen.
So we do come to this place of saying goodbye to his earthly life, and we give him to God's care and keeping. And we do that with gratitude, we do it with trust. And I would invite us as we do that to be in an attitude of prayer. And God, we do thank you for the remarkable life that this man has lived. He's made a huge, huge difference here in his service to his country, and his role as a patriarch in this family, all of his being here. So we say thank you for that. Thank you for blessing him with life, blessing so many others through him. And thank you for what you have given him now as he has moved from this life into that heavenly home of his. And as we envision him in that home, we know it's a wonderful place for him. And as we think about him held there in your love and your peace, we know that that same love extends to all of us as well. So we ask now that you'd be very close to Pat, to this family, to his circle of friends, that as we go from this time and place, it be for all of us with the perfect trust that not only is Don held in your love forever, but so are we all. Through Jesus, in his name we pray. We're going to do one more thing here before we depart, and that is to symbolize this new life with the dove release.
Family and friends, my name is Carol, and I'm with the White Wing Ceremony Company. It is my honor to present this final flight ceremony as part of your special tribute of love and farewell to Don. A single dove released by the family represents a symbolic departure of Don's spirit as we surrender him to rise and meet the embrace of his creator. This dove will be very closely followed today by a 20-dove escort to represent love and affection of family and friends. As they reunite way off in the distance, it will represent a 21-dove salute in recognition and appreciation to Don's military service on our behalf. To witness the doves, I'd like to invite Mrs. Thurber and most immediate family and our guests. We're going to face the lake right out here. So please.
Sorry, honey.
Right there, Rodney.
I notice we have a couple of small children, just very quickly, if they'd like to come forward and touch a dove. Very quickly.
I'm sorry about the phone. We're on time, so we just say goodbye. Such a handsome family. Wonderful. Thank you.
Patricia, would you like to come forward a little bit more? I want to make sure you see the ducks rising. Would you like to touch the wings of this dove as your gesture of farewell? Thank you. Rock is a very strong dove for Dad today. If you start with one hand like an ice cream cone, it's going to give you the phase of wings way down low. Yep, in here. Throw out. I'll let you know that. Lift up your hearts and share with me. God wanted me now, so set me free. And our touchy dove has horns. And we have our 21-year-old salute.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Desiree. My official duties today, other than taking care of Don in his passing, was his official portrait holder, which I have to tell you I'm extremely honored that I got to do this and be with you guys today. This does conclude our service. I do want you guys to know that at this point, the Riverside National Rep is going to take Don's urn to his final resting place. So just so you guys know, they don't allow us to go to that particular spot now. Okay, but they do, you are allowed to come back after 3 p.m. and he'll be there by the time that comes. For in the future, days that go by, if you're driving by, you're thinking about Don, not even just driving by, you want to visit him, all you have to do is go up to the administration building. There's a kiosk there. You just type in his name. As you see, it's a very large cemetery. It is going to print you out a map of exactly where he's at. The gates are open from dawn to dusk, 365 days a year. Patricia, you guys, thank you so much for allowing me the honor. As a funeral director, it's not always often that I get to experience a family that I actually grow an affinity for, and the Thurbers are absolutely that. This is an extraordinary man. And not just on behalf of Evans Brown, me personally, thank you for allowing me to take care of him. You guys have a wonderful day and share memories of him. You're gonna have good days and bad days. It's right here. Okay. Thank you all for coming.
Thank you. I guess everybody knows how to get to Carissa's, right? Alan.